Welcome back to the special CAT series with Careers 360. In today's video, let's look at how to ace the VARC section, the verbal ability and reading comprehension section. For a lot of people who are probably non-engineers, they find VARC very easy. And very unfortunately, maybe, a lot of engineers find VARC tough. You know what really affects VARC? You really never know whether you're going to score very well or very badly when you're doing the actual exam, and you will only know it at the end of correcting your paper. Sometimes when you read the entire RC, four questions, four choices, you'll feel, wow, I have aced it. And you find there are 3 mistakes. And sometimes you read an RC which you didn't understand head or tail about. The 4 questions are there. You solve the 4 questions thinking that you'll get all 4 wrong, but you get 3 correct and 1 wrong. This is something which is very natural, which is normal, and if you don't want this to happen regularly, if you want to be a lot more confident about how you have done your VARC section, there is a method in the madness, and that's what I'm going to try to take you through in this particular video. What I look at, the CAT focus. Verbal ability. What is there in verbal ability, especially when it comes to CAT? There is a para completion question, there is a para summary question, and there is an odd para jumble, or finding the odd sentence in the 5 sentences given to you which coherently form a paragraph. What does it mean? Basically, the whole of verbal ability is understanding your paragraph. Let's look at even reading comprehension for that matter. A paragraph, the reading comprehension probably has 4 paragraphs with a lot of information. And each question comes with 4 choices where some choice is correct, some choice is not right. I don't know which one, where is the correct answer. For example, question 1 may have an answer in para 4, question 2 may answer in para 1, question 3 may answer in para 3, or question 4 may be in 2 or 1 or whatever that means. CAT VARC, if you focus carefully, if you notice very carefully, it is nothing but about understanding one single paragraph. Typically, a paragraph of 100 to 125 words. Whether it is in the verbal section or in the reading comprehension section, it is all about that. Think a little more deeply into this. In reading comprehension, the number of words in a passage are about 450 to 500. That's what CAT has been over the last few years. That means approximately 4 paragraphs. If there are 4 sets, which is what the CAT paper has been, 4 sets or 4 RC sets, 4 into 4, 16 paragraphs. Then 8 questions of verbal ability. Maybe 3 para summary, maybe 3 para completion, and 2 odd para sentence or odd sentence of a paragraph. Again, 8 paragraphs given to you. So 16 plus 8. Your ability to understand 24 paragraphs of 125 words in a 40-minute exam is the name of the game. You need to be able to kind of reduce it to this kind of a very specific way of trying to solve a VARC. 24 paragraphs in 40 minutes, approximately 1.5 minutes per paragraph, which means if you are if your reading speeds are about 150 words per minute or 200 words per minute, this should be a cinch. This should be very easy. Why then is that your scores fluctuate like crazy? The reason for the scores fluctuating is not because you're bad, it's because you're fearful. You want to get it right. Therefore, what do? You spend too much of time on that. You want to validate. Every question you want to validate. Every answer you want to validate. What happens because of the validation is that you spend more time than you are ought to be given that. And to make it worse, the more time you give, and make no mistake, Please check your scores. Please check whatever mocks you're writing and the amount of time you're giving to questions which you have gone wrong. You will be surprised to see something. And that is, the more time you give to a question, the less chance that it will be correct on an average. On an average. What then should be a plan? What then should be the focus? Is to understand what comes in. So I'm going to take a focus of the type of questions which come in, so that if you know what kind of questions come in and how to attempt reading comprehension, that will be very easy for the other areas also. Let's look at what are the question types that come in reading comprehension, for example. One, the big picture. This is same as para summary. Same as possibly understanding your para completion also, for that matter. You need to understand the main idea of the paper, of the passage or a paragraph, maybe primary purpose of the passage or the paragraph, and what could be the title. The second type of question is your tone. Why is tone important? Like, look at odd para jumble, or finding out the odd sentence in a 5-sentence para, where one of them is odd. There's a possibility that 4 sentences are giving you certain kind of a tone, maybe a positive tone, whereas one is taking up a negative tone. Same thing in reading comprehension. There could be a question, they'll say, okay, what is the tone of the author? What is the tone of this passage? How is it being perceived it as? And the third one is the logical structure, passage construction. This is all three are big picture. Again, logical structure is same as your odd para jumble. It is similar to para jumble also, for that matter. That way, Cat 24 did not have para jumbles, but para jumbles comes in or has come in all the other cats previous to that. Then the next type of question is a supporting detail. Especially questions like, what are the facts cited? What is the specific argument? What are the descriptive details? What is the way in which I can connect this to para summary, for example? Para summary, when you have a large paragraph and you need to write a 2-line summary for it, there will be too many unnecessary facts given to you or too many examples given to you. What is the key specific argument? Can you understand that? And that has to come in your para summary. Then there are questions which are like interpretation questions in reading comprehension. Mostly the ones which are, these are the ones which are slightly more difficult. One step beyond what is going to happen. Alternative interpretation. What is the intended meaning of the author? Analogical, similar situation is given, applying ideas, agreeing, disagreeing to it. And the last one is critical reasoning. There are questions easily in the 16 questions given to you typically in your RC. One question which will at least have, hey, what is the author saying which will strengthen this argument? What will weaken this argument? What are the assumptions made in this argument? So, if you can identify the type of questions, the moment you see the question, and then logically understand how do you eliminate the other 3 choices, you will get the choices, the 4 choices given to you, and only one answer is correct. Now, let me answer this in a very, I will just put this in a slightly different manner. Remember one thing, that when a test setter is reading a passage, and or if a test setter is, let's say, setting up a para summary question, he knows what the answer should be, correct? So out of the 4 questions, if I go back to the reading comprehension thing that I'm showcasing to you, there is only one correct answer, but there are 3 wrong answers, correct? There are 3 wrong answers. So when there are 3 wrong answers, how do I decide? The test setter has to give these 3 wrong answers. How does he give these wrong answers? Same thing in para summary, same thing in other questions in verbal ability. And here is what I will tell you, the method that one has to follow in VARC. And that is called the elimination strategy. The wrong answers. See, I am not looking at what are the right answers. I am saying how do you eliminate the wrong answers. There are 3 structures that I will give you. The wrong answers can be in 3 different ways. First, one of the answer could be completely false, exactly opposite to what is being said. That is a very simple answer and you will easily be able to identify. Out of the 4 choices given to you, if there is a false answer or an exactly opposite answer, you can easily eliminate. But the next set of type of answers are wrong answers. Too broad, alien to the passage, too narrow or too extreme. Like for example, if it is narrow, only, such kind of words when are used. Extreme, all, every time, everywhere, such kind of words. So when you look at it, alien is something where that is not even there in the passage given to you. So B-A-N-E, bane. If your choice is any one of these bane, obviously the word that I'm using, you will be able to get it, that you can eliminate the answer. And there are certain questions which are very, dangerous actually. The answers which are very dangerous. They are true. You can see that it's there given in the passage. But it is not addressing the actual question in the passage. The question given in the passage. The question given in the examinations. Remember, understanding the question type will help you to eliminate true answer, but not necessarily the correct answer for the given question. So if you can solve all your RCs and all your verbal abilities based on this wrong answer concept, and when you analyze your questions after writing the exam, probably while writing, of course you should do it, but after writing, if you kind of analyze it in such a way that you figure out how you have missed out, you will see that your accuracies will continue to improve. The second important thing is you need to take a decision faster, not to kind of unnecessarily waste time in validating your correct answer. So what really comes in VARC? Look at it once again very, very quickly. Parajumble, short parajumbles, para summary is obviously there. But I would suggest that you also build your vocabulary or grammar and English usage. It is not a specific way you need to do it. It's not a GRE that you need to learn 3,500 words. No, I'm not saying that. But whatever you are reading, either in the mocks or outside the mocks, when you're reading a passage or an essay or a newspaper, any word that comes in which you are not very comfortable with, make a note of it. Make a placard for it. Make a flashcards for it. Make a book for it. Keep revising that every week, every 2 weeks. In reading comprehension, what kinds of passages one has to read? Business and economy, definitely. Science, biology and physics, ecology, sociology, culture, literature, maybe psychology and philosophy, politics and political science, history and other humanities. Any of these areas can come in your RC area. The more you read, the more comfortable. For example, if you are not good in psychology, obviously, if you are not a psychology student, this is something alien to you. If you are a psychology student, maybe economy or business may be alien to you. The whole idea is to spend time reading these sets, these passages. The more you read, the better you become. If I were to kind of put this across as an attempt plan, your plan to cracking CAT in cracking VARC in CAT is to look at an RC plan target of at least 6 to 9 corrects. If you can get 9 corrects, see, remember there are 16 questions, 9 net corrects. That means you can get 10 correct and 4 wrong, or 11 correct and 6 wrong, or 5 wrong. Almost 10 correct and 6 wrong also is almost that 9 net correct kind of things. You can make mistakes and you'll still be able to get a decent 27 score. Even a 6 net, what do you mean by 6 net? 6 correct? Or 7 correct and 3 wrong? Or 8 correct and 6 wrong? Can still get you 18 marks in RC alone. Action plan: build the necessary vocabulary to comprehend the passages. Read articles daily. aeon.com is one. I would say if you have about 100 odd days, 200 RC passages are the minimum that one has to read. If I look at the verbal ability, there are 8 questions, minimum 2 to 3 net corrects. 2 to 3 net corrects. That means, say, approximately attempting 5 at least, getting 3 correct, or attempting 6 questions and getting at least 3 or 4 correct. That is the kind of a focus that one has to look at it. What is the action plan? A very simple brute action plan of solving overall 500 verbal ability questions. Which means each type of question you will be solving about 100, 150 of them. chances are that you will get far more comfortable once you do that. Probably 50 questions per week, 2 hours per week is more than sufficient to do that. And before that, where we come to it is a 3-pillar approach to VARC. Prepare 5 hours a week, apart from the reading of newspapers. Build vocabulary, develop reading habit, even if you have 50 days for the CAT exam. I would like you to start building your vocabulary. Don't think that vocabulary is not important. It is not directly important, but it is very important to improve your comprehension. And lastly, work on improving your speed, reading speed. I said in the very beginning of this video that cracking VARC is understanding 24 paragraphs. 24 paragraphs of 100 to 125 words. If your speeds are 150 words per minute, please remember, you can easily do it in 24 minutes and get all 24 done with. You have 40 minutes for this exam. Keep that in mind. Last, I come to a strategy for the 40 minutes. How do you do that? There are 2 ways. One is attempting RC first, start with RC, attempting VA first, whichever way. I think there is no hard and fast rule on it. The first strategy is attempt RC, start with RC and give maximum of 30 minutes, 28 to 30 minutes. Try to do all 4 passages, but at least start with 3 passages. But your stop loss should be at 30 minutes for sure. Don't spend more than that because you will lose out on verbal ability. And after that, VA, depending on your best accuracy. Please remember, whenever you write your mocks, keep looking at what is your accuracy levels in each of the areas. If para summary is more accurate, start with that. If para completion or sentence completion is more accurate, start with that. If odd para jumbles or odd sentence in a paragraph is getting you more marks, start with that. Because you start with the best foot forward always. Same thing, the reverse strategy too, where you start with a VA. Here again, I'm saying you will have to still allocate 10 minutes to VA or 12 minutes to VA and maximum 30 minutes to RC. Start with the VA, maybe first 6-7 minutes, do your para summary or sentence completion. Stop at 7th minute maximum, solve RC and come back to finishing VA. The reason I am saying stop after 6-7 minutes, 8 minutes is that if you give more than 10 minutes, your RC at the last moment will become extremely difficult for you to finish. You will be in a position wherein you have read the RC or the passage, but you don't have time for the 4 questions to solve. And that is going to be really sad. So whichever strategy makes sense, you should try it out. How do you try it out? That is what we are saying. If you are going to write 20 mocks, at least in the initial 10, you experiment with both. At Careers 360, there are practice series which are coming in, which has CAT 2025, 10 years past papers with solutions. There is a preparation series which has a complete VARC course as well as 500 plus most important idioms and phrases which come in, not just CAT, but in other exams also. Along with that, we have already talked about previously the 20 mocks that Careers 360 has come out with.